Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a new approach for one of Canada's most critical challenges, economic reconciliation. We're going to look at a digital blueprint that's all about bridging that gap between promises and actual progress. And finally turning all that aspiration into real action.
So let's start with a number. $50 billion. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the estimated size of Canada's Indigenous economy every single year. This is not some small niche market. We're talking about a massive economic force, powered by more than 75,000 Indigenous-owned businesses from coast to coast to coast. But here's the catch. Even with all that power, this economic engine is constantly hitting these stubborn, systemic roadblocks that stop it from reaching its full potential. And that creates this really significant and costly gap between what the Indigenous economy could be and what it currently is. Which of course brings us to the big question. We hear the term economic reconciliation thrown around a lot, but what does it actually take to put it into practice? How do we get past the good intentions and start creating real, measurable change? Okay, so to really get the solution, we first have to wrap our heads around the problem. Let's dig into this gap that exists right now. This space between the aspiration for reconciliation and the actions we need to get there. And right at the heart of this whole thing is the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's Call to Action 92. Now, it's really important to understand this isn't just a suggestion or a nice idea. It's a direct call for Canada's entire corporate world to fundamentally change how it works with Indigenous peoples, to guarantee fair access to jobs, training, and real economic opportunities. And this is where you can really see the disconnect. On one side, the goals are pretty clear. Companies are trying to follow Call to Action 92, they're trying to meet their ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance mandates, and they're creating these reconciliation action plans, or RAPs. But on the other side, the reality they're facing is a mess of fragmented, inconsistent tools and a real shortage of authentic Indigenous-led resources. So a lot of them are just struggling to turn those plans on paper into any kind of real progress. So if that's the gap, how in the world do you close it? This is where our explainer shifts gears to focus on a pretty innovative, Indigenous-led digital solution that was designed to do exactly that. Meet Canada's Hub for Economic Reconciliation. What makes it so unique is its core DNA. First, and this is a huge deal, it's 100% Indigenous-owned and operated, which ensures that authenticity is baked right in. On top of that, it's an AI-powered digital platform with a laser focus just on economic reconciliation, and it's all backed up by its own library of content that's always growing. Now, the credibility of the Hub is really anchored by its founder, Jason Carter, and what's so compelling here is this fusion of his background. You've got his Nihiau or Cree heritage mixed with his deep expertise as an AI developer and an educator. That unique blend, authentic culture, serious tech skills, and a proven business track record is really the foundation for this whole platform. Okay, so we get the leadership and the vision, but what's actually in the box? What does the Hub offer? Let's break down the specific tools it gives people to actually drive all this change. So the platform isn't some one-size-fits-all thing. It's built on this really accessible, tiered model. It starts with stuff like a proprietary ebook for individuals just getting started. From there, it scales up to monthly memberships for individuals and teams, and then all the way to foundational and corporate licenses that are built for entire organizations. This whole structure means there's a clear entry point for basically anyone, from a single person who wants to be an ally to a huge corporation. And because of that flexible model, the Hub can serve a super diverse market. We're talking financial institutions that are focused on their action plans, corporations trying to build supplier diversity, public sector groups figuring out new procurement rules, and even individual consultants or allies who just need resources they can trust. It's really designed to work across pretty much every sector. Now, a really key piece of the toolkit is its AI Reconciliation Copilot. This tool tackles a major headache by helping organizations automate the compliance and reporting for their reconciliation action plans. The whole goal is to turn what's often a complex, manual process into something that's streamlined and driven by data.
A powerful vision is one thing, right? But a viable business plan is something else entirely. So now let's look at the actual strategy that's designed to turn this whole concept into a sustainable, growing enterprise.
The revenue projections show a really clear path forward, starting at over 120 grand in the first fiscal year and then climbing steadily. And the key here is that the platform is fully digital and has low overhead. That allows for a business model that's actually sustainable, where the growth is designed to support long-term impact, not just short-term profit.
And this roadmap lays out some very clear, tangible milestones. It kicks off with the platform launch and getting supplier certifications in late 2025. Then it moves to locking in those first corporate contracts with the goal of hitting over 1,000 active learners by mid-2026. And a really key detail here is the commitment to an annual public impact report. That's accountability built right into the plan.
Of course, to hit the goals on that roadmap, you've got to get the word out. So an initial $50,000 marketing investment is planned. The strategy here isn't just to build a great platform, but to make sure it actually reaches the organizations and people who need it most, through really targeted campaigns and smart partnerships.
All right, let's bring this all together. What could a model like this actually mean for the future of economic inclusion in Canada? It seems like the goal here is nothing short of setting a whole new standard.
The organization's own mission statement seems to say it all, really. We don't just educate, we drive measurable reconciliation. That sentence right there captures the core idea perfectly. It's a deliberate shift away from just passive learning and towards active, quantifiable progress.
And it really leaves us with a final, powerful thought. What could actually change in our jobs, in our supply chains, in our entire economy if we started measuring reconciliation not just by the good intentions behind our plans, but by the tangible impact they actually create? That's the question right at the heart of this whole approach. Thanks for watching The Explainer.